Blessed be everyone. Hello and welcome to another episode of Black Magic Talk. Tonight we're going to talk about the moon because it is the first full moon of the year 2025. It is January 13th as we are recording this. So we're going to talk about the moon and all the crazy actions that go along with the full moon. And then we're going to do our full moon rites. Oh, that didn't work, did it? Anyway.
Well, you learned an invisibility trick too.
Yeah, now you see me, now you know. But anyway, there's a full moon rite I have here. I'm going to read it after we talk. So let's talk about our week. How was your week, Matt? And how was your magic going?
No, it was a wild week. We've had fires in California. Thankfully, not too close
you're
to
in
home.
Cali.
But unfortunately, close to my Nana. She's fine. But, Pasadena, I grew up going down there. My grandparents lived there when I was young. Well, for most of my life, actually. So, yeah, it's really sad. It's crazy how fast things can get burnt down. In 2020, we had a fire that was, a conglomerate of fires that was over 1 million acres. So it hasn't quite got that much. But the amount of damage done in this fire is outrageous. So it's crazy. And we were sort of talking about conspiracy theories before the show. There's a lot of weird things people are saying about the fires in California, none of which I'm saying is true. But it is very sad that they caught the person who supposedly started that fire. And what a shame. I mean,
I think that's a scapegoat. Just like Luigi, I think that's a scapegoat.
It's possible. And either way, I mean, whatever the case is so sad because people just think like the building's burning down, but you got to figure the animals and the people that don't have anywhere to go. There's so much more that goes into it. Yeah. Yes. And the land itself. I mean, of course, like a forest needs a fire once in a while for growth, but that's different than when humans start a fire. So yeah, it's terribly sad. And our power was shut off for 3 days this week.
Yeah, you were saying that your power was shut off and your water too.
Yes. Well, our water because we're on a well, so that just happens when the power gets shut off.
That's so crazy.
It is, yeah. We had high winds, so now we're all concerned anytime the wind gets picked up.
But when it rains, it pours.
Yeah. It was 12:45 at night. I didn't wake up till like 1:30 in the morning. My fan shut off, so I was like, beg your pardon. And
that was Odin testing you.
Yeah, I thought my fan maybe broke. So I was thinking, oh crap, the fan finally broke. But then I noticed the refrigerator's not making noise and the microwave clock's off. And I'm like, uh-oh, I see what's going on here. So I just went back to sleep thinking, oh, it'll be back on in a few hours. 3 days later.
Oh no, did you have to get rid of everything in your refrigerator?
Luckily, no. We went and got ice and got freezer. We have ice chests and stuff. So.
Oh.
But
you guys are lucky on that one.
Exactly. We barbecued burgers and made the best of it. The fire's not near us, so I can't complain. But it was a wild week. How was your week?
I'm glad to hear that. Mine was good. I start a new job tomorrow, as everyone doesn't know, but I will start a new computer job tomorrow. I'm a little nervous, but I've been doing this for 4 years now, so I mean I know how to do it. So we had snow. You had fire and we had snow.
Fire and ice.
Yeah, fire and ice. That's it. We had about a week ago, we had about 6 inches. About 5-6 inches of snow. I didn't really have to go anywhere, so I didn't really worry about it. It was crazy. Excuse me. I actually I shoveled out my neighbors and then I shoveled out us, because my dad was like, I'm not going to go anywhere, but I mean, can we like shovel? I'm like, I'll do it. I got some exercise. That's good. And then we got Saturday we got like couple inches. nothing like, like Baltimore got or anything. But I want to say hi to Jamie if she's watching. Hi, Jamie. She is my coven. Her and Fran are a part of my coven. And yeah, they really help me financially. They're helping me. Not like they're not giving me money or anything, but like we did a couple of spells for, finances and stuff. So that was fun. And like I said, I tried to get my son out, right? I'm like, come on, let's throw some snowballs. No, he'd rather go with his, adopted grandmother and go sledding. So he went sledding without me. I'm like, oh, come on. What a fuzzle butt.
That sounds fun though.
I was trying to get him, to come out and have a snowball fight with me. He didn't want to have a snowball fight with me. He wanted to have it with Grandma Bonnie and Grandpa Tom, if they're watching. It was a fun week, I thought. Excuse me. But because of the snow, it made it hard for anyone to go anywhere. And boy, did they get hit in Baltimore. They got like 10 inches of snow. Like we got 6 and they got like 10. So I think Pennsylvania locked out on that one. That we didn't get as much as the rest, but we got a fair few. And of course, my man is always like, he's from Minnesota, so he's like, this is nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet until you've been to Minnesota. I'm like, okay. His Vikings are playing, but I think they were losing the last time I looked or something like that. But
now, were they playing in the snow?
Minnesota? No, they were supposed to play in California. They're playing the Chargers, but they moved it to Arizona because of the fires.
Wow. I know so many things have gotten moved. I mean, in New Orleans too, the tragedy that happened, they had to move some stuff, which is terribly sad also. Yeah, so our heart goes out to all those people. And in Carolina, where they're not having houses with all that going on, it's too much bad stuff at once. It's like you said, when it rains, it pours. So hopefully, need some good news to start the new year.
I mean, if it snowed here to like where it was like 2 or 3 feet, then nobody's going anywhere. Like in '96, we were talking about this the other day. In '96, I remember I didn't go to school for 2 weeks because it snowed for a week straight here in Pennsylvania. And I was 10 years old. So, of course, I was in like 5th grade or something like that. And I'll be danged if like I didn't go to school for 2 weeks and I had to stay in school till like almost the end of June. Because, I mean, like literally we didn't go to school for like 2-3 weeks. And my friends and I remember, were just building snow forts in the middle of the street because no one was moving anywhere. So, I mean, it was kind of fun actually, but yeah, I remember that I couldn't go over to my dad's house because, it was the blizzard of '96 and no one went anywhere. They went nowheres.
I can't even imagine.
It was fun for a while, but then when you have to like, because they always tack it on the end of school. When you go into school like till the end of June, and it's like, oh, this really sucks. But you had to make up all that time, So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much over for us. I don't think we're gonna get any more blizzards. I say that, and then tomorrow we'll get like another blizzard.
Yeah, I know some places it goes till, gosh, it seems like March or April almost, like in Vermont.
Yeah, like it's been doing that in PA. It's been really cold till like May, and then it's all of a sudden it's just warm. Yeah, it's really quite. It's a cool thing, but yet, my son only missed 1 day of school, so he'll have to make it up, right? Well, now they get out at like May, like the end of May. I'm like, where was that when I was young? I got out in June. They always it was like June 3rd, 4th, 5th, but those were all also makeup days if we had any snow days. And then that, like I said, in '96, it just happened that we went to the end of June because no one went to school for 2 weeks.
The real June gloom.
Yeah, it was horrible. I was like going to the pool as much as I could, but it had to be on weekends because we were still in school. So, I mean, yeah, I know. It was such a bummer. And I could just walk to the pool. I used to walk to the pool, and my mom would pick me up. So, fun times, fun times.
Yeah, yeah.
So what we're going to talk about today is the full moon, since it is a full moon today, the first full moon of 2025, and all the weird things that go along with that. So, Matt, why don't you start us off? What's your favorite thing about the full moon?
Well, I mean, I gotta say werewolves, just because I like horror movies, and
It's okay.
yeah. I mean, that just always the first thing that comes to mind is probably Skyrim. Yeah. An American Werewolf in London, most definitely my favorite.
It's okay. It's a quick little edit for YouTube. But yeah, you hear about all these full moon stuff, and of course, you have the werewolf tales of the vampires come out when the moon, when there's a moon. All these superstitions, what people would have, or if you want to say conspiracy theories, or ideas of how the moon would affect people. They do say that there is that people act crazy around the full moon. What say you, Matt?
I definitely can attest to this. I've worked in retail, and it's unbelievable the effect that either holidays, of course, and Black Friday. I had to do that once, and full moons do to people. Also, people going to the hospital. My son was born I believe, the day of a full moon that night, and it ended up being extremely packed and just hectic. So yeah, I mean, you got to figure we live on the blue planet, which is mostly water, and the moon has such an intense effect on the water, and we're mostly water. So it makes sense that it would have such a profound effect. And it does go back way into antiquity, of course, in many pagan cultures, that the moon is a very big deal, which is why we're talking about it tonight for the first full moon of the new year.
Right. I mean, there's so many significant. I was thinking about doing a spell tonight, but I'm like too tired. Plus, when you're starting a new job, you kind of want to be fresh. So going to bed as early as I can tonight. Hopefully, the full moon does not affect me. I know that the ebbing and flowing of the cycles, and then of course, with the tides and stuff. I mean, the moon, if we think about this, affects water on our planet. So at high tide, the tide is it goes much farther out on the shorelines, and low tide is usually when you go swimming. Now, you can go swimming in high tide. I just don't recommend it. But yeah, all the superstitions, the black cats and the full moon, and usually has to do a lot with Samhain. But I mean, people feel this all year round whenever the full moon comes in. One thing I like about the full moon is that it gives you that extra burst of energy when you're doing your spell work. So when you're doing a spell, I would definitely recommend that you do it during the full moon to give you that extra, burst of energy there. Because remember, when you're doing a spell, you're moving energy around anyway. So when you do that and you move it around, the full moon will kind of give you that little extra edge, as they say. And that's what I like. Like I said, I was thinking about doing one, but I'm like, I'd rather have my coven. I do have a coven now, and I kind of want them helping me, because this one we'd have to like think about it, and the spell, and there's a little more involved in the spell I want to do. But maybe next full moon. But I definitely like I was told the new moon and the full moon are excellent power boosters when it comes to your spells. So your magic, definitely would do it at a full moon, and like a new moon too. So like when the moon is dark.
Yeah, and that's something cool. I had only thought about the full moon until maybe the last year or two. And then Michael Kelly, who we've had on, got me into the planetary hours. And that's been an interesting thing to take into consideration. We were talking about that a little bit with Daniel, too, Daniel Arulian, and planetary magic, which, yeah, it was something I just really didn't think about for, I guess I did in my teenage years. And then I got out of that kind of grimoire magic that uses that so heavily. When I figured I can't draw a straight line hardly, so I'm not going to be able to draw all these elaborate. So you don't have to do that, but at the time I was convinced that you did. So, and if you think you have to do something, it affects your magic because you believe it. So,
What did I see on? I saw something. Words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. So use your words carefully when you are doing a spell. I like that one. It was a cool, I think it's a cool saying, spelling, because you're doing a spell. Yeah, I've caught myself, oh, I'll never achieve that. And yeah, I can't draw a straight line either. So my artwork is not, I draw stick figures.
yeah, my son draws far better than I do.
My son does too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so in
think
the Moslem path, they have good thoughts, good words, good deeds, because you try to make yourself as pure as you can, and then in that way, I think Sonia was talking about that too. You make yourself the magic, so you always are affecting things, and when you have good thoughts, you have good words, and that then your deeds cement them in, which in Norse culture is a big deal because you want to be remembered for what you do.
And like
Doing the
Mark
right.
said, you can feel energy moving and flowing through you. That's what when you rise or raise your vibration, you can feel that energy rising within you, and it's kind of like, and that's why people will dance during a spell. Some will make love during a spell. I mean, you can't rule this stuff out. I mean, love making is the transfer of energy, so there is energy, changing hands there, or I would say moving between the two people. But you definitely can dance. You can just meditate. I wouldn't mind trying the love making a part of our rituals. I think that raises the vibration, and again, you have that energy transferring between the two people who are making love. So I think that yeah, that's a great point that you made. And that's why I want to do more full moon rituals, because I mean, just the raising of the moon and it's almost like you can feel sparks. You ever feel like you're so intense with energy that it's just like that static electricity is what I'm trying to say. So I get so bad at this. Like I literally can walk with no shoes on, and I'm not even rubbing carpet. I'm on tile floors and zap. That's
Absolutely.
I feel that energy, and I think it's just energy that comes up. Now, yeah, it's a static charge, but still it's energy coming out through your hands, because I guess I'm a good conductor of electricity, at least static electricity. But I mean, I don't even have to rub, like I said, I don't even have to rub against a carpet. I literally just zap and I touch something. That means I'm a witch. They can tell if I'm a witch or not. I just, also with my coven has she has some animals, and the animals literally will come right up to me. Her one cat, his name is, and you can't make this up, it's so awesome. Excuse me. Her one cat is a calico cat with a lot of coloring. Like I have a calico, but she's like white. She has a little bit of coloring here on the ear. She came up to me the other day and literally laid in my arms. Like she was a little baby. And I was like, does she normally do this? And Jamie's like, no, I've never seen her do that. I was like, well, us ladies, we got to stick together, They don't have her fixed. So I think that has something to do with my cycle. So, I mean, us ladies, we got to stick together, right? But that was so funny. All her tiger cat, Tiger, literally comes up and like bumps my nose. Literally just comes up to me and bumps my nose. And I said, "Does he do that?" Nope, he doesn't like strangers. I mean, I've never had an animal do that to me before, but her animals seem to do that. The dogs fight over my attention. And Spooky comes up to me. She's like, "Are you gonna pet me?" Okay. And they're like, "I've never seen Spooky do that. That she's a black cat." And she's like, "I've never seen Spooky do that before." I was like, "Well, when in Rome, right? When you're a witch." Of course, my animals are spoiled. But anyway, I also think that the full moon affects animals as well.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
my next thing I was going to say. My cats seem to have a yearning for the outside. Now they're indoor, okay? They're definitely indoor. But they just have that calling. Like my black cat, Maleficent, loves to get up on the windowsill and just stare out at the moon. And I think that's her calling, right? That's the moon calling to her, like it calls to all the animals, even if they're outside. My girls happen to be inside, but they all are they're a little more affectionate. Have you noticed that animals can be a little more affectionate or a little more hyper? When
Well,
the full moon comes.
our cat caught a mouse and left it on the porch for us tonight.
See, Master, I wanted you to have this
Yep.
as a token of my appreciation.
And the dogs howl at the moon, whether are not werewolves, but I love hearing that. Or when there's an ambulance, of course, too.
Yeah, any loud noises I would think dogs would not like. And yes, I am wearing my necklace today. You can't see it because it blends in with my shirt. But when it comes to the full moon, there's a lot of effect that it not only has on us humans, on the tides, on animals. Really, this is how animals knew how to migrate with the seasons, because of the moon. I think that there's a lot we can learn from moon rituals. There's something else I did very briefly. Now you have to do it in a container that the moon can, when you sit it out, it has to be able to have the light shine through the water. It's something called moon water. I don't know if you have ever heard of this. I've done this with a see-through water bottle where you can just lay it out in the full moon. The rays go into the water and then you drink the water, and that's the moon energy flowing through you. I've done that, and that is awesome. I do feel empowered. I do feel more energized. I recommend it if you do have a water bottle. Like I just buy a plastic one, and the plastic ones that they always put in. And then I just set it out on our porch, and when the moon hits it, those rays of the moon will energize that water, and that's why they call it moon water. Definitely recommend. Definitely. Try not to do it on a very hot night because your water will get all hot. But like a nice cool night where the water doesn't have time to get hot. It just kind of and then you just drink it. And I think that has also helped me with my spell work. When I become that energy and I use that full moon energy, I think that it affects me and it puts me more at focus. That's what most of the spells are, is focus. You're focusing on something. Now you need to have whatever it is you have, your intention. Make sure your intention is short and sweet and to the point, and that you can focus on it as you meditate. Again, the moon water will definitely help. If you can do this, I would recommend it. Even if you had like a glass, as long as you can stick it somewhere where it won't fall down and get broken, I would definitely recommend you try to do the moon water ritual. Whether you do it during a full moon, whether you're doing it during a waxing moon or a waning moon, whatever suits your purpose. So you have options. You can do waning, waxing, or the full moon. You just can't do it during the new moon because, of course, there is no moon. But the moon is still there. Okay, the moon is still there. Also, you can charge your, I did do this a couple of times. You can charge your crystals during a moon, whether that's waxing or waning. I would probably do it during a waxing. I think they say it's better in a waxing moon to, charge your stuff. You can use the sun or you can use the moon. And I've actually done the moon a couple of times. Like I said, you make sure you wash your rocks off, make sure that they are nice and clean and cleansed, and then charge them, just stick them out in the moonlight and get them the next day. And boom, now you have your crystals all charged by the moon. And I think, again, that gives them that extra oomph, that extra energy that they need from both the sun and the moon. Now, there's different energies there. Sun is masculine and the moon is feminine. So whatever calls to you, I guess. If you like to charge them in the sun, if you like to charge them in the moon. Do whatever you prefer. But definitely can feel that crisp energy from the moon when I charge my crystals.
Yeah, they when you're making a tincture, people use the moon as a certain moon phases. And actually, in Norse culture, it's interesting. The moon is male and the sun is female. So it depends on what culture. Which, yeah, I grew up with Greek mythos, so it's
an interesting concept there. So that's actually opposite.
Yeah. So what it is the sun is female, but the day is masculine, and then the moon is male and the night is feminine. So yeah, it's an interesting little twist to Norse culture.
Okay. I was going to say, because I will need to know that if Odin is going to test me as he has been. And that's good. For one cycle needs to end and another one needs to begin. I need to become my true self. And Odin has said he's going to help me get to that point. And that's fine. And then, Hecate can come back in when Odin is finished. I did actually get an Odin. There we go. My little statue of Odin. I figured, I felt like he wanted to stay right here between my two monitors. So he didn't want to be on my altar. Because if he's temporary and he's just going to get me to my true self, then, temporary is where it needs to be. So it's right between my two monitors. So he kind of watches over my equipment. So nobody comes in here looking for my equipment without me.
Gremlins beware.
Gremlins beware. That's right. Of all the things we talk about when it comes to the moon and we do magic, yes, of course, there's always, if you're looking for a type of, spell or magic that you want to do, of course, we all know that if you want to bring in something, you want to do a new moon to a full moon, and that would be a waxing moon. If you want to get rid of something or banish something, negativity, your stuff that no longer serves you, you would do that from a full moon to a waning moon, or a full moon to a new moon, and that's called the waning moon. Got a little ahead of myself. I more or less, after tonight, when it becomes a waning moon, I will probably ask Hecate or even Odin to take away what no longer serves me and to bring in what does. This is good for, like I said, banishing spells, banishing negativity, a negative person, a negative entity, negative situation. It also can bring you clarity in a situation that you doesn't that is very doesn't serve you, but what am I trying to think? It's a tough situation no matter which decision you choose. But definitely, if you're going to do a spell, try to do it within those moon. But you can do it a spell anytime. But I just like I said, if I wanted, let's say I wanted my new job, so I'll have what 4 or 5 jobs, right? Excuse me. But I need to pay the bills, right? So I have a new job that's going to pay the bills. Um, and then I have my other jobs for spending money or however I do it, right? So you do a spell from the new moon to the full moon. Um, some can do a road opener, some can just do a wealth spell, some can do a new job spell. My covenant and I did a new job spell because I kind of needed extra money. So, so in that, I mean, there's you do the phases of the moon, and the moon can affect that. So, yeah, I mean, that energy, like I said, to me, that energy, it feels like it comes off of your fingers. Like Mark was saying, like that energy sparking in your fingertips. Like once you get used to energy flowing and ebbing within you, you'll feel it like it's almost like a spark. The sparks that come off, at the end of, when you're starting a car, there's sparks that have to spark up, right? So, so yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits that we witches and wizards and whatever you call yourself, there's a lot of benefit we get from the moon and from the sun too. If you do your rituals during the day because you feel closer to the sun, or if you do your rituals at night and you feel closer to the moon, it's still that way of ebbing and flowing, as all cycles will ebb and flow. um and and yeah, I think it does affect people's moods. People can be more on edge. I do think that are there some studies out there, people, psychologists who have studied this. Matt, have you heard of this?
Oh yeah, very much. I mean, like I was saying, the hospitals are always have more people for a full moon. Um, it just does something to people. It's undeniable. For whatever reason, it's the same with animals. It just has a great effect. And yeah, it's also traditionally tested.
And what I think that comes down to is, I mean, it's the pull. As we all know, the moon pulls on the earth and the earth pulls on the moon. It's that gravitational force. So when something pulls on you, I mean, it's going to affect you some kind of way.
Now, did you hear
Um,
about that second moon that we had for just a little bit until Thanksgiving? I don't remember if we talked about that or not.
we did not. Would you enlighten us?
So I think it was a asteroid or something that had come from. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was near the sun, and it somehow got stuck around our moon for I think maybe 2 months or a month and a half. But it left at Thanksgiving. I was bummed out because I didn't get to see it. I looked with my telescope several times and didn't get to see it. But yeah, people were talking about it. Personally, I like the thought of it. I don't think that I actually felt any different, but it was interesting. I mean, how many people can say they had 2 moons for a little bit? It was very interesting. But
Like Tatooine, huh?
yeah, exactly right.
But it was that pull. That pull of our moon had captured this asteroid for a little while. That could happen technically. If we could get something big enough to, where our moon would just capture it, or even the Earth would capture another moon. There is always that, where the moons would collide, but I think they think when America went to the moon, we did a lot more than just play golf. We did studies, and we actually found that the moon had a lot of elements that Earth had. So what they think happened is back when the Earth was being formed, it had a glancing blow, and just fragments of it kind of went around the Earth, and that again spiraled into the moon. So then the Earth captured the moon in its orbit. And again, that could happen where there could be some kind of planet that, comes too close to Earth, and boom, Earth captures it with its pull and its gravity, and we could have a second moon. And eventually, like I said, they would probably collide into each other. There's evidence of that happening with Jupiter. Jupiter has so many moons, there's too many to count. There's 69, 70, more than that, at least 100 and some, I think. Of course, Jupiter has its own moons, but its own, it has Io and Europa and Callisto. But there's also like little, moons that didn't really amount to anything. They didn't become anything. They're just kind of like and weird shaped and stuff. But when our moon was studied, that's what, they found that actually it probably came from the Earth. The moon actually probably came from the Earth and was formed over many millions of years. And again, that theory of, a comet or an asteroid might come too close to Earth's gravitational pull and literally could just be in orbit. Now, it could be farther out from the moon, and that way it would never collide, but the moon would still push on it and pull on it. Because the moon, even though it has no atmosphere, it still has a gravitational pull. And we can see that from the Earth as the tides come in and the tides go out. So that theory can happen. It could definitely happen like that. And it did. Our moon had such a pull on that asteroid for 2 months that it literally orbited around the moon. So we had technically a moon within a moon, right? I guess I would call it a moon within a moon. That kind of sounds.
Yeah. I was hoping something more exciting and sci-fi would happen, but at the same time, it's probably good that it didn't, because that could be, who knows?
Well, if it had gone into the moon, if it had orbited so fast and smacked into the moon, there would be fragments of the moon. I don't think the moon would be shattered unless it was like a head-on collision. But eventually it would go into the moon and become a part of it, and then the moon would get even bigger. Once all the debris and stuff comes back into a clump and clumps itself together, because if you look at the moon, honestly, it has all those pop marks because it had no atmosphere. It just went bam, stuff was running into it constantly. So then finally it went dormant, and, we found water on the moon and all kinds of elements that we would find here on Earth on the moon. So again, it just goes back to the planetary push and pull of our planet, of the moon, of other planets and other planets' moons. and they all have their pull.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, I got to bring up that some people don't actually think we landed on the moon. What do you think about that?
Or they think the moon is made of cheese. Okay, so for the first one, so the first one, I've heard that rumor. I've even heard people say that Buzz Aldrin admitted. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but that Buzz Aldrin admitted that we never landed on the moon.
I know that he punched someone that said that we never landed on the moon, so I can't imagine he would say that, but...
Right. So, I think these people took him out of context or just made up a quote from him. He was the second man on the moon, and Neil Armstrong was the first. I have heard that it was all done on a shot, and I think Mythbusters tried to do this. They tried to actually make a set that looks like the moon, and they couldn't do it. So there's no way. This was like 2015, and they're like, trust me, they don't have the kind of technology. They didn't have that back in the 60s. No way could they have just made this up. Because there's some kind of picture where it looks like you can see a set in Buzz Aldrin's shield or whatever, but it's just the Earth. It's a picture of he's on the moon, and it's a picture of the Earth.
Yeah, the biggest proof I heard was that like the flag's shadow was going the wrong way or something ridiculous, but I don't know.
I've
always entertained it as just curious.
Yeah, I have heard of that rumor, and like I said, I mean, um, I don't know because I really wasn't really I wasn't alive in the 60s, so I don't know. I can only tell you what I've heard. And there's always that fascination with stuff that people believe. You know, there's a flat Earth people who think that the Earth is flat, but the other planets are round. So just our Earth is flat, but everybody else is round. Yeah, I know.
Or what does get me is I wonder why we don't have McDonald's on the moon. I mean, why haven't we gone back very often?
I've heard well, okay, you want to talk conspiracy theories? I've heard that we do have bases on the moon, but they're all top secret.
Curious.
No one's ever heard of them because, again, the government's going to come out and say, "Oh, by the way, we're on the moon. We have colonies on the moon. You poor people just stay here, and us rich people will go." Uh, I've heard Russia has some bases on the moon. I've heard that conspiracy theory. Again, I don't know, guys, because I mean, I'm not part of the government, but it's that people are thinking outside the box when it comes to the moon. I've heard the moon is made of cheese when it's actually made of dirt and dust and everything else nasty. Um, the crust of the moon, literally, you could stick your hand in it and just go like that, and it's just dust. You know,
That would be so weird. I know, to
right?
think of the difference of gravity must be so fascinating. My God, that would just be
Yeah, you could
well,
actually
out of this
bounce
world.
and not fly on the moon, but you could bounce on the moon. Yeah,
That would be so fun.
Neil did that, and I think Buzz did too. Um, so I mean, when you think about the moon, and you see this entity that is a planetary, and it has its own power. Like I said, it affects the Earth, the tides and stuff. But not only that, but the moon in itself is its own entity and has its own push and pull in the planetary spectrum. So, um, and it may seem like a dead entity, but yet they still found water, underground water. And like I said, like you go back to the conspiracy theories and oh, there's bases on the moon. Well, technically, yes, there could be a colony on the moon if you think about it. Now, I'm not saying they're right. What I'm saying, I'm just saying because they did find water underneath the moon's surface. Just because they found water, technically you would have all you need. The only thing you don't have is atmosphere. But you could make dome like structures and that could be filled with oxygen as long as when you went outside you had an air press lock that would keep in the oxygen, and then when you got your moon stuff on to go out and bounce around on the moon, right?
It would have to have
um
such an effect on the body, though, after prolonged being there for a long
Exposure,
time. You would think. You would think.
that could be.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anyone's been on the moon long enough. They were there for what, a couple of days, maybe
Yeah. Exactly.
4 days. Yeah. If someone were to have that, I mean, but once you go into your little bunker, whatever they have on them, whatever they supposedly had colonized the moon with, these little bunkers would have, they would have gravity, they would have air, oxygen, so that you could breathe and you could walk around as normal as if you were on the Earth, but you're actually on the moon.
Yeah. Now, have you heard
Um,
the people that are stuck in space? I don't know if they still are, but I think they are.
you mean stuck on the space station?
Right now, yeah, they have been for almost a year or something.
I thought they. Okay.
Did
Yeah,
they come back?
I don't. I thought they did, but maybe they did
Okay.
not.
It's been a while
Yeah.
since I've read about that, honestly.
Well, and because the thing was Boeing, it was a Boeing instrument. Yeah. Um, I hope all is well there. Something they said something about the food. They were going to run out of food or water. I don't know. I think they could. Get some more food and stuff to them. But that was, I think, the main concern at the time is that these people were stuck up there with very limited water and food supplies. They could send another astronaut with food and water and stuff. But yeah, I did hear about that. And what they say at the International Space Station is that those people do exercise because being in space with zero gravity, you lose bone mass.
Yeah, they're supposed to come back in February.
Okay, in February. Okay.
But NASA said they're not stuck. That's what they're claiming. So
Okay. Well, NASA can say
not going to
whatever it
argue with
wants
NASA.
to.
I don't want to.
Yeah, right. And NASA can say whatever it wants. But that would be cool. It would be called. I think it would be cool to colonize another planet. So if the moon is it, colonize the moon. If Mars is what we're going after, colonize Mars. I definitely think we should be a 2-planet species because I think
you would think it would give us a better chance of survival.
Yes.
I mean, obviously we should take care of Earth more, but
Yes, that too. That it is our mother. There is no planet B. But I just think that it would be so cool to say, "Oh, I live on Mars." What about you?
Or just to go on vacation, even just for a day. I mean, that would be so epic.
Oh, did you see the Mars? Did you go over to and see the moon? I don't know, moon pools, or did you vacation in the moon on the moon? Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an object of fascination since recorded history. So,
Well, and that's true. And that's because like humans are curious by nature. And I think that we have wanted to always study the moon and get to know the moon and how did it form. A lot of people thought that the moon was an orphan planet that actually got captured by Earth until they went to the moon and did tests and found out, oh, the same thing on the moon is here on Earth. So then they came up with it collided with Earth, and actually a lot of the moon was like in little particles, but it would have been like Saturn. Like Saturn has ring. Well, the Earth back in the early days would have had a ring around it and eventually would spiral into the moon. Because when like I said, when Neil Armstrong actually went to the moon, they actually did do tests there, and they found very similar materials and minerals. Also, again, they did find water. So any planet that has water on it, which is most, if not all, except for the gas planets, of course. So you have Jupiter, Uranus, and then you have Neptune, which is all gas. Saturn is all gas. I think Pluto, even if it was a planet, I think it does have some rock. So some of the moons are gas, some of them are rocks. So I guess it all just depends on what, was able to happen to the outer solar system or even our part of the solar system. Like I said, a lot of people thought the moon was made of cheese. Others thought it was made of all kinds of things. I think it's just that curiosity. They just they want to speculate on it. Oh, the moon is made of this, the moon is made of that. And then we got there and it was really freaking boring. It was actually just made of dust.
Which doesn't take any away.
What's all this dust? Clean this stuff up.
Yeah, which doesn't take anything away from the moon, obviously, but no. Yeah, to some people, I guess.
To us witches, the moon is very prominent in, like I said, in our spells and in our work, as some of us do shadow work, and the moon is very helpful because, again, you have that shadow of the moon, your shadow self, and you can work with that and the moon. So, because, I mean, even the earth has a shadow, so does the sun, so does the moon. So if you work in that basis, we all have shadow selves, and what we don't project out into the world is in our shadow self. And that could be negative. It could be positive. I don't know, because I'm a very positive person. At least I try to be. I definitely try to be. All right. So we're coming up on 10 minutes. So we actually did blab about this for a long time. Any final thoughts before I start our full moon ritual?
Nope, by all means.
Okay. All right. If anyone wants to, if you just want to close your eyes, if you do want to hold your hands up, by all means, please do. You do you, whatever you want to do. I will just say the words. And I just want to let you guys know that you will have time. You can always pause this if you need to go get something or if you need to bring something in. You can do a white or red candle, either one candle or 3 candles, whichever you prefer. The offerings of wine, bread, or eggs, again, whatever is specific to you or the goddess or deity that you call to. Okay, and like I said, if you need to pause right now, go get that stuff, do so, and then come back and unpause this. Okay. So stand with your legs apart, arms raised towards the sky. And again, you can pause this if you need to. On this powerful night of the full moon, I practice the ancient rites. Hail to thee, luminous queen of the night. Hail to thee, lady of the full moon. I use Hecate, I will say Hecate. Tonight I honor your power. Tonight we are one, as one. Your beauty and power, strength and magnetism are felt within and without me. I honor the Great Mother. I honor the alluring, nurturing, and receiving power of the divine feminine. I bask in your light and glory. All right, if you want to hit pause here, that's fine. If you don't have to. But now we're going to draw in the moon. So what I want you to focus on is a full moon. See it in your mind's eye and feel its light pouring into you. As I say, Queen of the luminous night, hear my call. We are as one. I draw in your light. I draw in your power. I feel your light shine within me. I feel your light glowing about me. I am your beauty. I am your magic. I am your wisdom. I am your compassion. I draw you in. I draw you within. We are one. Just take a few minutes. And like I said, if you would like to pause this, just take a few minutes to feel that energy. And now I'm just going to give you a minute of silence so you can say whatever you need to say before I close. Okay, if you do need more time, you're more than welcome to go ahead and pause. But now we're going to go ahead and you can do magic here, or you can just meditate. Again, just come on back when you're ready. Pause this and then come on back when you're ready. Goddess of the full moon night, I thank you for your presence and your blessings. I give offerings to you in praise and gratitude. May you both be pleased and fulfilled. I give offerings and thanks to the God of the witches for your presence here. May you both be pleased and fulfilled. Blessed be. Blessed be, everyone. All right. And like I said, if you need to pause during any of that time, feel free to do so and then just come back to it. But remember to come back to it. And then if you need to, do anything else on your altar, again, just hit the pause button and then you can come right back. Okay. Well, that's it for us. I hope you enjoyed this episode about the moon and all the mysterious, superstitious things that come along with the moon. Of course, with the black cats and the ladders and the don't get caught on a full moon night among the vampires and the werewolves, because you might just become one. You just might become one. But I would like to thank you on behalf of me and my co-host, Matt Collins. Matt, do you have anything you need to plug real fast?
My book, Liminal Illusion, is still on Amazon if you want to give that a go. Some Norse poetry. Other than that, I'm good.
Okay. So yeah, get that on Amazon today. Links will be in the description field if you would like to check that out and buy a copy for yourself. Again, I have some cool things coming up. In 2 weeks, we have the wonderful Sonia Smith coming. We're going to talk about UFOs. Oh, no. And I may have to do a little editing for that one because I may just play the what is it? The UFO show. I can't remember what it is now. Well, unfortunately, it won't be on Amazon. I mean, it's
YouTube,
Amazon.
yeah.
It just won't be on YouTube
or Amazon.
That part will be cut out. But I just think that those theme songs really get you into the mood, and I think Sony will find them quite cute to have them.
Twilight Zone?
No, I'm thinking of the sci-fi one.
X-Files?
Yes, X-Files. I'll play the X-Files theme, and then we'll have to cut it out, of course. But I have some great things coming up. So this on wrestling, if you do watch my pro wrestling talk, we are going to talk, probably preview the Royal Rumble coming up soon. And then, of course, in a couple weeks, there is Saturday night's main event coming out. Of course, we're going to talk about all kinds of new stuff of the modern wrestling and, of course, of the old wrestling. On Nobody Beats Kurt Hennig. Nobody. I did change it. We are doing, right now, I just uploaded an episode I did about Larry the Axe Hennig, where we just watch along to a couple of his matches. And at the end, there's like an arm wrestling match that he does with Sergeant Slaughter, although Sergeant Slaughter does not talk. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to know that it's Sergeant Slaughter, but it is. So if you want to check those out, links are in the description field. If you have any questions for me or Matt, our links for our X or Twitter will be in the description field. Please let us know if there's anything you would like to see, any topics you'd like us to cover. We are, we take advice. And if you would like a tarot reading from me or from Matt, you can also DM us with all the information that we will need. Any questions that you will have, any feedback you have, you can do that on YouTube or on the Rumble comments, and just let us know what you think of the show. Until next time, guys, that's it for us. Blessed be everyone. Blessed be everyone. Hello. I just want to let everyone know that the outro music is AI generated. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. And also, if you would like to generate your own AI, the link in the description field will be for their website. Blessed be everyone.
In the woods where the whispers run deep, underneath the moon, where secrets we keep, she dances in the shadow with the silver tide. Candles flicker soft, guiding light as a guide. Her altar's filled with herbs and old charms, lost in ancient spells, safe in her arms. Stars weave a tapestry across the black sky, with a chalice raised high, she lets out a sigh. With her sacred circle drawn tight, calling to the spirits in the quiet of the night. Her magic's in the earth, the wind and the seas. She whispers ancient words, swaying like the trees. In a grove of oaks, where the world stands still, she gathers her strength with every Sabbath thrill. The moon's tender gaze, casting shadows cold, the stories of her craft in the twilight retold. The broom by her doorstep, sweeping away all the dark shadows of yesterday. With the cauldron bubbling, herbs to the air, every spell she casts is a heartfelt prayer. With her sacred circle drawn tight, calling to the spirits in the quiet of the night. Her magic's in the earth, the wind and the seas. She ancient words